This is the BBQ Central Radio Show, which airs live every Tuesday evening from 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The BBQ Central Show is being brought to you by Big Papa Smokers. Big Papa is the one-stop shop for anyone interested in barbecue, featuring a comprehensive selection of all American-made grills, spices, sauces, accessories, and everything that you need to make a world-class pit out of a 55-gallon drum. Visit them at bigpapasmokers.com. And by the Barbecue Guru, makers of automatic pit temperature control devices and pits as well. You can visit them at thebbqguru.com. And by Cook Shack, a leader in pellet and electric style cookers. Visit them for specials online at cookshack.com or call them at 800-423-0698. And by Sucklebusters. Sucklebusters products are preferred by competition barbecue cooks. Texas-based, 100% made in the USA. Introduced first products to Barbecue Central over 7 years ago. You can get in contact with them at sucklebusters.com. Like them on their Facebook fan page, Sucklebusters, or visit thetexasbbqforum.com. Check them out and see why Sucklebusters means bustin' with flavor. And by Stephen DeFranco Jeweler, the official jeweler of the Barbecue Central Show. Visit them at StephenDeFranco.com or call 440-943-2700. And by Butcher Barbecue, makers of injections, sauces, and rubs. Find them online at butcherbbq.com. And by Green Mountain Grills, a leader in the pellet grill market. You can find out more about their cookers by visiting greenmountaingrills.com. And by cookinpellets.com, a maker of high-quality pellets for all of your pellet-driven cookers. You can visit them at cookinpellets.com, or you can find them at amazon.com as well.
Hey, this is Helen Paradise from SoCal, and you are listening to the Barbecue Central Show.
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and... Oh! Should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
All right, good evening and welcome to the really big Barbecue Central Show. Oh, yeah. The show that talks about all things important to the world of barbecue and grilling, broadcasting live and direct from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city of Cleveland, Ohio. It is the barbecue capital of the North Coast. I am your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard here on your Tuesday. You want to jump in on the show tonight? More than happy to have you. It's a phone call. 216-220-0966. You can also email the show, Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Anything else you want to find out about the show this evening or in the future can be found at the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. And here's what's happening coming up in about 13 minutes from now. And perhaps I should just hold back for a second or pull back for a second and say this. If you have a bias, a aversion, an allergic reaction, or whatever the Florida Barbecue Association barbecue competition talk, get out, head for the hills tonight, because we are really locked and loaded FBA style this evening. I'm pumped up about it. We do a lot of KCBS stuff on this show, obviously, but last year I made a commitment that we would be as equal as possible to Florida Barbecue Association. Tonight brings that to the forefront with a huge competition this past weekend in Apopka, Florida. I've driven past that exit a number of times throughout the years as I have visited the Sunshine State, because I do have people that reside down on the Gulf side. And I want to say, it's all about Apopka tonight. So if you have no interest in Apopka, I invite you to get out, leave, eat it. because we're going to be all over the South and the East like white on rice. So, if you didn't get the newsletter, shame on you. Go ahead to the main website and sign up right there at the top right. In about 12 minutes from now, from Team Unknown Barbecue, Jason Whitcomb, first-timer, will be joining us. Coming up at 9:35, a guy who has done the show a number of times. He is a previous Florida Barbecue Association Team of the Year winner. He won this past weekend in Apopka, Florida. Successful barbecue businessman as well. Matt Barber, Hot Wachulas, joins us. Then we'll press to the second hour. If you can, if that isn't, we could end the show right there if we wanted to, but we won't. We'll keep it going as we press into the second hour, as we pretty much always do on the show. 10:14. She competed as well in Apopka. She can be seen on a small TV show called Barbecue Crawl, and she will be joining us at 10:14 to recap and give us her take on Apopka, Florida, the travels that she has been in the midst of here over the last number of weeks, and all that good stuff. Friend of mine, friend of yours, Danielle Dimovski, Diva Q, joining us on the show. And then at 10:35, we will open up the gates for week 5 of BBQ Swap Meet. And depending on what we get through there, we might vice versa this. And, forgive me for getting lost in the now present ongoing preparation of the show each and every week that I 10 days ago flubbed my own show anniversary. Believe it or not, I did. I felt ridiculous. I yelled at me. I said, I thought you loved me. I thought we loved us. Where did we go wrong? How could we forget such a date? February 7th, 2008 was the unveiling of what is now a live Barbecue Central show. Yeah. Believe it or believe it. 7 years ago now, 10 days and 7 years ago, was the first time the live show ever hit the air. The podcast show was on 2 years prior to that, but it was all a pre-record. We'll get into that more. So we'll maybe do a little bit of a quick revisit on a reflection of 7 years of live shows. We might go back and listen to the first few minutes of the very first show and see how much it did or did not suck back then and how much greater it is now. Debatable. And then we might do some barbecue swap meet, whatever. So we'll see how it goes. 216-220-0966. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Jason Whitcomb, Matt Barber, Danielle Dimovski, all on tap this evening. Love to hear from you as well through the phones or through the emails. Right now, if you're watching the show, do me a solid. Make the social media rounds on your Facebook, on the Twitter, maybe a Snapchat, maybe an Instagram, or whatever you have, Kick, Messenger. Let everybody know the show's on right now. A couple different places to send them to if they only have audio access, like through a smart device or a computer, and they don't care to look at video. The main website is the place to go, thebbqcentralshow.com. If they do like video, you can send them to the YouTubes right now, /BARBECUE, the numeral 4 and the letter U. You can also send them to the long-time sole video syndication partner of this show outside of the YouTubes, which doesn't count. OutdoorCookingChannel.com. Kevin Bevington over there hosting the live video feed for, maybe 5 years, maybe even longer than that now. So you can get it there. And don't forget, you can catch the show live on Roku or a number of other IP television platforms. If your platform has a app store, go to that app store, search for Outdoor Cooking Channel. If it does have it available, download it immediately. And then you have access to the live stream of Outdoor Cooking Channel where you can watch this show, you can watch Whiskey Man Barbecue in the Pit, all that good stuff. And then you have access to a host of other video archives that Kevin Hahn has on there as well. In regards to the replays of the show, you can subscribe to the audio stuff through iTunes or a number of other podcast websites and directories that I post to each and every week. YouTube, as I just mentioned, outdoor cooking channels I had mentioned as well. So there's really never any reason that if you miss a show on Tuesday or a particular segment, you come in late or you have to leave early or what have you, that you can go to any number of areas, and especially the main clearinghouse of all archive shows, which is the main website, the bbqcentralshow.com. And there's never any reason why you should miss anything on this show ever, even if it's a month from now and you hear it in barbecue circles and grilling circles and so forth. Yeah, get on it. You can take part in it. So here's a quote that I got from John Dawson. Quote of the day. This is how it comes. Quote of the day. I've only listened to the show. I'm sorry. Let me back up. This is not, by the way, coming from John. John was on a barbecue forum, which I believe was the Barbecue Brethren. I'm waiting for it to load here so I can double check here before we go to the first break. Yeah. He does this letting me Google that thing for you. It's such a pain in the butt. All right, so it's Barbecue Brethren Forum under the AmazingRibs.com was sold, and a little ways through there, it references my interview with Meathead. And it says, is this from GTR? From Culver City, California. I've only listened to the show. I had no idea Greg Rempe looked so much like Eminem. Eminem? Me? GTR. I don't know, what Eminem looks like, per se. I mean, let me rephrase that. I do know what he looks like. Plenty of celebrities I have been mistaken for. Plenty. Almost too numerous to mention. However, Eminem, never once. Generically terroristic looking, yes. Middle Eastern, yes. Sonny from General Hospital in my younger days, yes. Aaron Rodgers, sometimes. Never, ever once, Eminem. That's fine. I'll take it. I wish I looked like his bank account. That's what I want. Can I have his bank account? Sucklebusters award-winning barbecue rubs, sauces, chili kits, Texas gunpowder. 100% Texas-based, made in the USA. Won hundreds of industry awards, including 2 first places 2 years in a row at the American Royal Barbecue Sauce Contest. Are used by backyarders and competition barbecue cooks across the country. Top-selling products. What are they, you ask? Let me tell you. Original barbecue sauce. The original. Literally hundreds of industry awards. Honey barbecue sauce. Used as a finishing sauce and glazed by competition cooks. Hog Waller. #1 seller. Perfect on competition pork and ribs. Competition barbecue rub. Traditional style. Mild, savory, excellent on beef. Plucker Duster Barbecue Rub. Sweet Heat Chipotle Chicken Barbecue Rub. How about new products for this year? Sure. Wild Fang Wild Game Rub. It's got black pepper. It's awesome on ribs as well. You have the SPG, the Sierra Papa Gulf, premium blend of salt, pepper, and garlic. The BAM Habanero Barbecue Rub. Super hot, super sweet. Where can you get Sucklebusters? Available at 300 retailers nationwide. Check your local barbecue shop if you have one. Retail locator on the Sucklebusters website. You can order online at sucklebusters.com. Fledgling little website retailer known as Amazon carries them as well. You can pick up the phone and call Dan Arnold and the gang at 972-393-9509. That's 972-393-9509. You can email them at sales, plural, at sucklebusters.com. You can go to the Facebook fan page, Sucklebusters, or you can visit their forum, the TexasBBQForum.com, and check out why Sucklebusters means busting with flavor. Thanks to Dan Arnold and the folks over there for supporting the show. Support them. Check out some fine rubs and so forth. Oh, yeah. Got a little bullet bourbon from my neighbor Desmond. That's what happens when you snow blow driveways out of the goodness of your heart. You get bourbon in return. Jason Whitcomb when we come back from Team Unknown Barbecue. It's the Barbecue Central Show right here on the Barbecue Central Network.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. 216-220-0966. Greg at the BBQCentralShow.com. This portion of the Barbecue Central Show being brought to you by CookinPellets.com. Your number one source for quality wood pellets for all your pellet-driven cookers. Visit CookinPellets.com for more information or to purchase. You can also visit Amazon.com to purchase as well. Again, CookinPellets.com, the main website. Or if you are partial to big box type websites, Amazon.com sells cooking pellets as well. All right, as we talked about in the lead of the show, it's all Apopka all day long, twice on Sunday. Joining me now from Team Unknown Barbecue, first timer to the show. Let's go ahead and welcome in Jason Whitcomb. Jay, what up, bro? How are you?
What's going on, man? Good.
Man, I'm living the barbecue good life. How about you?
I'm doing the same.
All right.
Can't complain.
Another IPC in the house, so we've had some in the past. But another Imperial Polk County team is Team Unknown Barbecue. So I guess, Jason, before we get into the intertwinings of Apopka this past weekend, for the folks that maybe aren't familiar with you and the team, a little bit about yourself, what you're into personally, professionally, and I guess how you got into the whole barbecue game.
I'm a metal fabricator by trade for a living, and the way our team came about was we started up in 2009. It was me, my brother, my dad, and brother-in-law started it up. And we started out cooking on a big offset cooker that I built and some WSMs and, kind of just built different equipment to get us rocking and rolling. When we compete, we have a very large team, depending on what part of town we're in. So our team it grows from week to week. So, you'll see new faces cooking with us all the time, helping us out, getting us through it, because when we cook, it's insane, I would say.
How did you, I guess, get introduced to it? Did somebody, a friend or a colleague say, hey, I'm going to a FBA event this year, you should tag along? You read about it in the paper. I'm always kind of fascinated how one stumbles into it at the outset.
Yeah, I live about 10 minutes away from Lakeland. I work in Lakeland. I live in Winter Haven. And the KCBS has an event down here called Lakeland Pig Fest. It's the largest contest in Florida. And I would go out there and hang with my buddies, and just the first year I went out there, I was like, man, this is pretty cool. I'd really never considered cooking in it. It was more like just, walking around and hanging out and having some beers. And then my brother-in-law got me the following weekend, Frank Cosmo out there at Smoke on the Water. He's got the contest the following weekend. And he puts on a heck of a show right there. It's an FBA event. It's on Lake Cannon. It's just, he puts everything into that contest. So, all the big boys go to that one too, just like they go to Lakeland. And we were there in Ocala one weekend, kicking it around, me and my brother and my dad, and it was my brother, Dorsey's idea. He was like, man, we should go cook. He said, I just bought a WSM, and he was going to cook a turkey for Thanksgiving up there. And so I said, all right. I went to started building the cooker, and I think about 3 months later, we were entered into Smoke on the Water contest after we begged the guy to let us in. And it was crazy. We cooked every weekend. This thing wasn't even painted yet. I mean, it was just rough looking. And then cooked every weekend, practicing. It was horrible. Got in there, cooked our first backyard contest. Ended up getting a second place call in pork. Got this little plastic pig trophy. We're jumping up and down, and unbeknownst to us, while we're over there admiring this little plastic pig, we just got called for grand champion. We didn't know that you could win a contest after winning a second place called pork. Well, after that, it was we were gut hooked. I mean, then now our life is consumed by it every weekend. So that's how we got started.
Are you still cooking on that same cooker when you first started 6 years ago, or have you graduated around the cooker chain?
Yeah, we still have it, and we use it for some vending or some catering events. But yeah, we went through we went to where we're cooking on a lot of WSMs, and then we went and I built a gravity-fed, all stainless steel gravity-fed smoker, cabinet smoker. And we've been on that thing for probably 4 years now, and it's still going good. My dad cooks chicken on a GMG.
The other thing that I'm always fascinated with teams when I have them on the first time is, inevitably, regardless of sanctioning body, team names are incredibly inventive and creative. And Team Unknown Barbecue, of course, you have the Unknown Militia that's following you as well. You'd mentioned you have a team that grows and shrinks depending on where you are from week to week. How do you land on Team Unknown Barbecue?
Well, we're pretty humble people, and we were trying to come up with all these different names. You got 2 butts and a nut, 2 nuts and a butt. You got Kiss My Butt. You got all these different names, and we're like, well, we wanted to be different, stand out. So we're like, our brothers threw it out there, and it was like, that's it. We're going to run with that. And everybody looked at us like we were crazy. But now it's, I don't know, it's part of it. It's our life now. It's crazy.
The unknown have become known, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
Jason Whitcomb joining me here on the show, Team Unknown Barbecue, unknownbbq.com, the website if you want to check it out here while we're talking. All right, Jay, so let's go ahead and take a look back at this past weekend in Apopka, Florida. I think 90-plus teams, maybe 92 to be exact, if memory serves me correctly. So huge contest regardless of sanctioning body, probably one of the bigger ones that anybody sees during the course of a contest season. I guess on the outset, when you're going in, and you've probably been here or season pro at Apopka at this point, but when you go into events that have this many teams or teams more than 50, do you factor in this kind of crapshoot situation with how many teams are there versus how you would see it at a smaller size contest, or does amount of teams at an event really not play on what your mindset is going into an event?
Yeah, I always say it's a crapshoot when it gets that big, because a lot of times there's issues getting, seasoned judges. You got your good judges, and you got your, well, I won't say good and bad. You got your high scoring judges and your low scoring judges. When you get that big of a contest, it seems to me, my theory is you're going to get a mixture of, you're going to get more bad than good. So, yeah, it's more of a crapshoot, and the smaller contests you can go into it, and it doesn't seem that way. But like Pig Fest, we've always struggled in that contest, and we wanted to win that thing so bad, but you're talking 75 to 80 teams cooking that thing, and it's KCBS event, so they're coming from everywhere, because they're all snowed in up north, so it's perfect for them the last weekend of January. So yeah, it's I would say it's a crapshoot. Sometimes you get lucky, and sometimes you don't.
Specific to the past weekend, and we'll get into how you cooked here, you were originally, when I saw results, you were reserve grand champion. I believe you slid down to third, and then there was some scoring issues. And as you read a little bit more about it, there's a new scoring system, and things weren't tabulated correctly, or what have you. From your perspective and from things that you heard, what exactly went down to leading some people to get shoveled off into lower spots?
It was an issue the weekend before in Winter Haven. They got this new system that they're trying to work all the bugs out of, and it's not easy, and I understand that. But this contest, I was told they were having issues with it. Awards were supposed to be at 5 o'clock. So everybody's getting ready to make their way to the big stage. They got this beautiful amphitheater out there, and I mean, it's awesome. And that's one of the reasons we like to go there, is just to go to the awards at that place. Well, they come around the golf cart and say, well, the awards are going to be in the judges' tent, and they're pushing it back an hour. They're not ready yet. And when you have that many teams, it's kind of expected. It's not the end of the world, but kind of disappointing. And so we waited the hour, and I live about an hour and 15 minutes away from the contest. And I was sitting there. They pushed it back an hour, and 45 minutes later, they came around and pushed it back another 30 minutes. I told my dad, I said, Dad, we got to go. I said, I mean, who's to say in another hour or 30 minutes they don't push it back again? I said, it's Valentine's Day. My wife and daughter at the house. Let's go.
Right on.
He was kind of let down. He wanted to stay. But they didn't start doing the awards till, I think, 8:30. And that was a good call to leave on our part. We got home about 10. So what happened was...
So you weren't even there for you weren't even there for the call-outs. You were gone.
No, I wasn't even there for the awards. We were getting a text message. One of our teammates was staying for the concert, so he was going to stand up for us. And so we got a text saying we got third place chicken. I was dropping my dad off at his house when that came in. So we're like, holy crap, that's good, especially when you got 90 teams. I mean, you can win a contest with one call. We've already lived that thing. So I wasn't real happy with the ribs or the pork. And then we got a second place ribs. I'm like, now this is looking good. We get a call, ninth place pork. I'm like, we got this. So I'm now in my kitchen, got it on speakerphone, listening to the awards. They're calling the top 15. They call all the way up to, they call third place Killer Bees. Then they go to Reserve Grand. They call Matt Daddies. Then they called GC Matt Barber. And we're looking at each other like, the only way we could have not placed in the top 15 is if we got DQ'd in brisket, which we didn't. Well, I got a couple text messages from people asking what's going on. I'm like, I'm not even there. So the next morning I wake up and get on Facebook and start reading. And what had happened was they had never entered our brisket score. So we never even got called for top 15. We ended up getting, our brisket ended up scoring low, and we ended up third overall. So I don't know. I wasn't there. I heard they were talking about they had it right. Everything was good, but that's kind of the drama going around that. And I hate it for them because I know it's a lot of pressure to get the scores right and making sure all that in a timely manner. But it's also depressing when you don't get that call,
So is it a scoring system situation, or is it just whether it was old or new, the pressure to get the results in and get them right would have same chance of it affecting the old way or the new way regardless?
Yeah, I'm not 100% what it is. I don't know if it's the way it's written down on the card. I don't know if they're combining them. I'm really not sure. I know the 90-some teams didn't help the issue, but I have no idea. They're supposed to come let us know and have it fixed. So I feel bad for them because, they're having a hard time dealing with it. So I'm trying not to give them too much grief,
Third place out of 93 teams in total, though. Pretty good weekend overall, right?
Oh, yeah. I'm happy with it. There's a lot of good teams there. A lot of good teams.
Jason Whitcomb, Team Unknown Barbecue, joining us here on the show. UnknownBBQ.com, the website, if you want to check it out. Jason, if I could, where are you guys going to be at next?
We're going to be cooking Haines City, not this weekend, but the next weekend.
So you got a weekend off. Are you going to be practicing, or are there things you're already looking to tweak? Kind of. I mean, you guys are more or less. Is it halfway through the season at this point, or almost halfway through the season? Yeah,
I would say about a third of the way through the season. We pretty much run the same program every weekend. It seems to be hitting pretty decent. We'll have our off weeks, but if there's a tweak, it's very little. And until they start falling off a lot, then we'll start getting digging into a little bit more. But for the most part, we pretty much run the same program week in, week out.
Do you get into KCBS at all?
Yeah. Yeah, we cooked 3 Florida KCBS. We cooked when pigs fly south out in Lakeland at the airport. We cooked Plant City Pig Jam, and which I think Plant City Pig Jam was the last contest for the KCBS. So it was pretty cool to see everybody doing the points chase and stuff like that down here because, you know, the weather's bad up there. So everybody's down here. I think it's in November. And then we cooked a couple KCBS out in Vegas, and it's just we haven't cooked any KCBS in Georgia or anything like that. So that's pretty much all the KCBS we do.
Jason, as far as programs are concerned, you said you've been cooking the same program for a while now. Is it do you switch up at all when you get into KCBS, or is it the same whether it's FBA or whether it's KCBS?
I have switched it on occasion, and it's bit me in the butt. And I mean, so when we're doing it, we're running. You know, there's some are like, well, the KCBS, they sauce, they don't sauce, they do this. You know, you hear all these rumors from everybody, and you don't know if they're throwing you a curveball, just trying to get you a bite or what. But we've, if we just cook good barbecue and nothing that's too crazy, and the flavor profile isn't offensive, then they really can't judge it down. So we stick with what we know, and like when we went all the way out to the West Coast, we just ran the same exact flavor profile. And it seems to do fine.
Jason, before we get off tonight, and I certainly appreciate the time, there's something else that I wanted to talk about, and I'd mentioned it last week in the week 4 of BBQ Swap Meet, which is hot damn segment, sweeping the barbecue nation, damn it. However, there's these hinges that you are kind of responsible for. They can go on Ugly Drum Smokers and Weber Smoky Mountains and so forth. And, to me, it's like, oh, my God, well, I'm the least handy guy ever on the face of the earth. So whenever there's drilling involved, I become clammy and my blood pressure starts to rise. I immediately look to hire somebody to do stuff. But if you could talk to me a little bit about the hinges and kind of, where you saw the niche and how they work and how you install and cost and stuff like that. I mean, I'd like to kind of promote that a little bit for you if possible.
Yeah, well, my dad was the inspiration for it. He said, Jason, I got this WSM, and he says, I got a side table I'm building for it. He says, I need a hinge for the lid. This is probably 3 or 4 years ago. So I made him some just ragtag hinge it was kind of held together with a bolt to where it was like more of a friction type thing. So the lid would actually swing all the way up, and it really wasn't a great, it needed improvement. Well, we took it to a couple contests, and people were like, I want one of those, and I didn't pay any mind to it because I built a lot of different things. People want stuff, and I built it. So I was sitting at work one day, and I just went and bought a weld machine for my house because you don't do so much stuff at your job before they tell you to quit.
Right.
So I got this weld machine, and I drew everything up on AutoCAD, and I was going to make everything a lot, streamline it and make it to where it would lock open and, all that stuff. So I made a couple of prototypes, took them to the barbecue contest, and they just started. People were like, yep, I'll take it. Because, when you're grabbing that lid off of there, you're spinning around looking for somewhere to put it. You're going to put it on a table. Whatever you put it on, your ground or grass, you're going to get grease.
Yep.
A grease mark on it. So this eliminates that problem. A lot of people haul these things in their trucks. With that hinge on there, it keeps it from flying out of the back of the truck. It also has a quick release pad on it, so you can remove it to clean it. It's not permanent. So then I got the WSM, and people were like, well, I want one for the kettle. So I designed one to fit the 18 and the 26-inch kettle. Then the ugly drum, people wanted those. So then I made one that fit the ugly drum and one that fit the ugly drum with the Weber lid on it. So, I make 3 different versions. And if she would have talked to me this time last year and said, hey, how many do you plan on making? I would have told you 50. And I think I'm close to 2,500 now that I've already moved. So it's like, it's kind of a shock, but it's a good shock. And I work for a metal fab shop, so we laser cut all the parts there. They're all stainless steel. I bring them home and I weld them all in my garage and ship them all out of my house. So they're all, handmade, hand assembled right here. And there's, it'll outlast the grill. They do come with mounting instructions, all the hardware. My email's in there if you have any questions. But it's straightforward and easy to follow directions, and it's not that big of a deal to install it.
What kind of a price tag you looking at for like the 18.5-inch Weber Smoky Mountain situation?
The one that fits the 18 is universal. If it's the 18 and the 22, they run $46, and $7 shipping. I only charge shipping once. So if you buy 1 or 10 or 20, so you're going to pay $7 shipping. So, that's kind of a little incentive there. I think they're all $46 on my website. Any model you pick.
Jason Whitcomb is with Team Unknown Barbecue. If you are following the competition scene down in Florida, keep an eye out for these guys. Also, if you're looking for hinges for the kettle, for the Weber Smoky Mountain, the Youngly Drum Smoker, unknownbbq.com is the place you want to go to check those out, right, Jason?
That's correct.
All right, I'll get a link up there for everybody else to check out as well in the post-show notes. Jason, appreciate the time tonight, man. Thanks so much for coming on, and let's do it again soon.
Thank you, Greg.
All right, there he is. Jason Whitcomb, Team Unknown Barbecue. I will post it. Unknownbbq.com. $46. Maybe I should unknownbbq.com. There we go. Got to make sure you get the dub in front. Like, what age are we living in where you have to stick the triple W up front to make a hyperlink? It's ridiculous. You should never tell anybody a website address and start by going www. No shit.
Get that big stuff out of here.
Folks, did you screw up on Saturday? Yeah, you. I know you did. Especially you. Maybe not you. Right? You screwed it up. You didn't get what you were supposed to, or you got something lame. You're sleeping on the couch now. Nobody likes that. So, because you didn't go to Stephen DeFranco's before Saturday came, this past, go now. Redeem yourself. You will thank me later. Go on over to StephenDeFranco.com. Stephen, D-I, DeFranco, D-I-F-R-A-N-C-O. Pick out a new watch. Pick out a new set of earrings, an engagement ring, something. Hurry, because you don't want to sleep on the couch anymore. Stephen is a genius, an expert when it comes to the art and craft of jewelry. I only buy it from him. He's got a whole bunch of stuff you've never even heard of. If you have something in your mind, you're artistic, you're a fabricator of sorts, put it down on paper. His people will be able to make it come to life for you. The Bulova watches, the Citizen watches, the Philip & Company watches, all this stuff. I mean, I'm a watch guy myself, so you know I'm going to love it. So here's what you do. You go to StephenDeFranco.com. You pick out what you like. Then you call Steve directly, 440-943-2700. That's 440-943-2700. You tell him you're a barbecue brother or sister. You listen to the show each and every week. You tell him, hey, he tells me to call in every week. Greg tells me to call in every week. I'm asking for you. What are we going to do? Watch the dollars fall off. Watch the shipping be no charge. Watch additional warranties get on with the watches. It's a great time. Plus, Steve's a great guy. He's a barbecue junkie just like you and me. 440-943-2700, StephenDeFranco.com. We're back with Matt Barber, grand champion of Apopka, coming up out of the break. Stick around. We'll be right back.
the smoke. Call 877-448-0433 to get on the air. Now, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, we are back. 216-220-0966. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Yeah, that's the setting I want. Thanks again to Jason Whitcomb from Team Unknown Barbecue for coming on this past segment, talking about their third place take. Joining me now, the guy that won the whole damn thing, coming out on top of 92 other teams. He is a former FBA Team of the Year winner. And again, winner of this past weekend's Apopka event. Let's go ahead and welcome back to the show, friend of the show, Matt Barber, Hot Wachulas. Matt, how are you, bud?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing absolutely fabulous, Matt. Appreciate the time tonight. And, pretty big weekend, obviously. There was 92 other teams aside from yourself and Apopka. And, this was an event that, as I saw kind of trolling through social media over the past 7-8 days, really leading up, a lot of people talking about it, a lot of people making plans to get out there. I just had Jason Whitcomb on this past segment and was asking him, when you get into a event that is, 60 teams, 75 teams, even approaching 100 like this one this past weekend, does your mindset change at all? Like, in a smaller event, you're like, hey, I can really do my thing and I can kind of rise to the top, where if you're at 96, there's a whole bunch of other things, kind of like that American Royal type situation, where there's so many things that you can't control and there's so many teams there that there is a larger element of crapshoot that there might be than in a smaller event.
Yeah, absolutely. It's it's one of those things to where you could not get a call and win it. Depending on how the scores pan out. But at the big contest, a lot of it's just the tables you get lucky enough to end on. I mean, you still have to cook good, but there's a lot more luck involved than a regular contest for sure.
Matt Barber, Hot Wachulas, joining us here on the show. Matt, if you could, I guess take us back to the weekend as you load in and set up and start to get ready and get the big meets going. How does the overall weekend cook for you, and is there anything that kind of comes up during the course of the weekend that you have to contend with that maybe you didn't have plans for contending with?
Well, I ended up showing up late. That what seems to be my usual thing as of late. But it seems like the closer the contest, the more delayed I get. I got there, I think, around 4 o'clock Friday afternoon. So I pull on my spot. I just start setting up. Cooks meetings at 5, so at least when I get my cookers out and set up, and because I know once the cooks meeting's over, that's when I got to start prepping my meat. And I didn't have anything pre-trimmed or anything. I've just gotten into the habit of just doing it all there, but. So that was kind of my Friday. Was a little bit rushed. Get there, set up, cook meeting, go back to my truck, and just start doing prep. I mean, it was plus it was cold, so I didn't want to stay outside of my truck too much.
Matt, I know you're not talking to me about cold, bro. I know you're not doing it. It's negative 13 degrees up here, man. You want cold? Let's cook up here.
It's a dry cold, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but it was that was the second coldest contest as far as that I've been to in Florida. But it was it was one of those things that there were a bunch of people in. They were explaining how the turn-ins were going to be. There were going to be 3 separate tables, which even adds to the crapshoot factor. Because now you don't know how, some of the large contests, they break up the team numbers, 1 through 30, 31 through 80, and whatnot. But so that kind of added to the guesswork as far as, well, crap, what teams am I going to be up against? What tables am I going to hit? Are they going to rotate our turn-ins? Are they going to rotate the judges inside? But everything went on schedule. I mean, nothing really. There seemed to be some power issues that night. So running a pellet cooker was a bit of a hassle, but everything went pretty smooth. Everything tasted great. The one thing I will say, my chicken and my ribs were probably, my chicken, it looked great. It tasted great. It was just a little dry. Same with my ribs. I mean, they looked great, tasted great. They were just a little, they weren't tough or juicy, but they weren't coming off the bone clean, which was a bit aggravating. But that's when I knew I got involved in chicken and ribs. I'm like, I'm not having this.
Do you attribute any of the dryness to those two to, not to sound like a smartass, but to the cold weather at all?
It could have been. It could have been a little bit of the humidity and the cold, but honestly, it's just one of those weird, my ribs just need more time, in my head, I needed them in another 20 minutes to get them to bite like I wanted them to. My chicken probably just needed about, 15 minutes less than I had it in there. But I just actually got a high scoring chicken table. I think 3 of the top 10 were off the same table. So I got, that's really what won it for me was that chicken table. My pork and my brisket were pretty much on point. Nothing, that's been pretty consistent the last couple of cooks. But Achilles healed, this year, so it seems like if I get a rib call, I end up doing real well.
Matt Barber from Hot Wachulas joining me here on the show. Matt, your website's hotwachulas.com, right? Or is there a barbecue at the end of that?
Yes.
All right.
Just hotwachulas.com. Yeah.
Hotwachulas.com. Check it out here while we're talking and recovering or covering the recap of Apopka, Florida this past weekend. Matt, you mentioned this is the second coldest contest you've been in. Do you think that teams made proper preparation to deal with this? And does cold weather really affect cookers and processes and stuff like that? Or is it just uncomfortable for you being out in it more than anything else?
It affects, a lot of it's just being out in it, but I think if you've got an uninsulated cooker, it affects you a lot more than it does if you've got, an insulated cabinet type cooker. I think if you're cooking in a drum or if you're cooking on a stick burner or something, it's going to affect you a lot more than it is, people cooking in a stumps or, a killer smoker like mine or, something that's insulated. I think it's just, it doesn't affect it that much, but once you start opening up the door a lot, you're going to need more time to recover. And that might have been some of the time for my ribs because, my rib wrap sauce, chicken sauce kind of overlap, and, I might have lost some extra time in there just because it was colder outside. And I might have just taken a little bit longer to recover than usual. But, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there can end up making a pretty big difference.
Matt Barber joining us here on the show. Matt, so as you get called overall grand champ, and then there's some of the scoring fallout that is ensuing, previous to the lead up there. You remain grand champion, so that's great. Obviously, would hate to get called out, and then you get slid down to 4th or 5th place. But do you? And I asked Jason his thoughts on it. Do you have any thoughts on scoring and what's happened here over the last couple of weeks with FBA? And I guess the bigger question would be, regardless, was it just an issue with the amount of teams and pressure to get scores out this past weekend, and it would have happened regardless of old scoring system or new scoring system?
It probably would have happened as well. I mean, actually, it did last year, as well. It was, I just think with a contest that big, sometimes people just, especially when it gets 2 hours pushed back, you get into a rush and like, well, are they right? Yeah. You really need to, take that extra 30 minutes and double check it to make sure. But, I think with the new scoring system, there's just some little technical issues, I think, that aren't crossing over some of the things from the categories into the overall. So there's some little switch glitch for some of the things that it's just going to take. I'm sure it's going to get fixed a lot quicker now than it would have been. I mean, that contest definitely was a crash course for the new scoring system. But I think it'll all work out in the end. I know the actual scoring point system is pretty dead on accurate. It's just some of the minor little programming issues that are causing some of the scores not to be carried over into the overall score sheet, which seemed to be the biggest issue as of late. But hopefully they'll get that stuff figured out and run a bunch of. They can take the scores from last week and just run tests, for the next 2 weeks until Haines City, and hopefully get all the bugs out of it. But we'll see. But I have faith in it. But it seemed like that contest was an issue last year as well with the old scoring system. So hopefully this will be the contest that puts the rush on fixing all the kind of little glitches in the new system.
Matt Barber joining us here on the show. Matt, let's go ahead and kind of get an overall look at the season so far. You're currently sitting atop the FBA Team of the Year points chase at 180. Jim Elser is just behind you at 160, and then a little bit of a gap there down to Blitzkrieg. You're first in chicken, you're first in pork, you're second in brisket. I mean, you're having another great year. Obviously, you were FBA Team of the Year in 2013, Jim's current reigning champion. Seems like it's you two kind of duking it out each and every weekend, and it's both of you towards the end of the year for Team of the Year, and it doesn't look like it's setting up any other way, but the same thing for this year. How are you viewing 2015 right now, and your thoughts, kind of where you're sitting at, and potentially regaining the FBA Team of the Year crown from Jim?
Actually, I think they're 2 weeks behind on the points because, it seems like there's a lot of new things happening in the FBA, besides the new scoring system. They're working on a new website as well, which might have been a little bit much to bite off all at once, but I think I'm about 55 points ahead of Jim now. But it's going to be the same thing. We've joked about it being Ali Foreman back and forth. But I try to keep reminding him that, I'm Ali in the scenario.
That's right.
So at least I hope so. But it's going to be another tough year. I mean, my goal this year is to try and get ranked really well in the KCBS points as well. I cooked 12 last year and did really well for I think I was 4th or 7th nationwide for teams that cooked 12 or less contests in the KCBS. So I'm hoping to do more KCBSs this year and try and break that top 50 overall. But we'll see. I mean, that's going to be a pretty, it's tough to do 40 is probably what I'm going to have to end up doing this year to cook enough KCBSs to get any decent ranking up there. But that's one of my goals for this year.
Matt, do you think it is completely impossible, and I'm only asking this question because I remember back in the early days of the show, I don't know if you ever heard of a guy named Kevin Bevington from HomeBBQ.com. But he was, raking back in the day, won Florida Barbecue Association Team of the Year like 5 years in a row. And there were a good couple of years where not only was he winning FBA, but he was, I think, at best 1 year top 5 in KCBS as well. And I remember asking him a question. I said, hey, do you think, obviously you want to win both, right, in a year, but Is it impossible the way FBA is set up and how you have to cook the amount of competitions and then be able to get in enough competitions on the KCBS side and then factor in where you're located to have a team win both sanctioning bodies in a year?
Yeah, that would be tough. It is one of those, to win the FBA Team of the Year, I mean, they count everything. I lost it last year. Jim cooked 2 more contests than I did. So it was one of those things. It wasn't anything I could do about it, but, it's really tough, unless they eventually switched over to pick your best 10, contest, kind of like I think KCBS does, your top 10 or top 12 or something like that. But, we would have still probably been in the same position. But yeah, it would open us up to be able to cook more out of the state. That's the hardest part. Most of the, we can cook a contest 6 hours away and, north or south and not leave the state. But it is a lot tougher now. And unless something changes, to win FBA, you're going to have to cook over 25 contests a year. That's pretty much how it's going to be, unless something changes.
Matt, also, I just want to make sure I heard that right. The only reason that Matt won Florida Barbecue Association Team of the Year last year is because he just cooked more contests than you, right? Yeah.
Jim just did 2 more.
Has nothing to do with quality of cook or nothing. He just cooked 2 more. Jim, suck it. Suck it, Buckeye, from the Florida guy. All right, Matt Barber joining us here on the show, Hot Wachulas. And by the way, Matt, I meant to get into it. We just run out of time. If you are somebody who has been told by your legions of suck-ass friends in the neighborhood that your barbecue sauce is so good you should get it bottled, you're a guy that people should contact, right? Hot Wachulas is not only a world-class competition cooking team, but you're into that co-pack bottle type situation, right?
Yeah, I mean, I bottle stuff for Jim, for Sweet Smoke Q. I bottle rub sauces for Swamp Boys. I do Uncle Kenny's sauces. Of course, I do my own, but I do a lot of stuff for, different restaurants around. I've got a large client up in Chelsea, Massachusetts, so I bottle a lot of hot sauce for. I've done stuff for a wing restaurant out in Vegas, and we do stuff all over. But yeah, if anybody has a sauce recipe that they're looking to get bottled, or at least trying to get some ballpark pricing to try and shop around, you can definitely contact me at matt@hotwachulas.com, and I can send them some of our information packet and some of our processing and packing pricing information, and it's not that you'll spend more time working on your label than you will trying to get it bottled. But it's a real simple process. It's not as complicated as you might think. But yeah, definitely that's my day job. I do that Monday through Thursday, and then Friday and Saturday is cook-off time.
There it is. Matt Barber, Hot Wachulas. Check him out, hotwachulas.com. Matt, always appreciate the time, man. Thanks for coming on today.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you got it. There he is. Matt Barber, Hot Wachulas. You got a sauce you're trying to get out, ladies and gentlemen? He's the guy. Get your sauce out with Matt, ladies and gentlemen. That sounds a little more perverted than I thought it was going to come out. All right. Gang, if you're like me, you're looking for ways to step up the barbecue and grilling game. So we all know, I'm going to tell you, it's butcherbbq.com. You're damn right. You're damn right. So usually I go through the cavalcade of ridiculously great products that Dave has to offer the consuming backyard and competing public. Right? I want to tell you this. Maybe you are somebody who likes to shop around. You're the grass is always greener on the side of the road type fella. That's why your wife divorced you, because you were cheating on her. You suck. Same thing with the injections. Look, there's plenty of people out there, commercially made injections out there, that are claiming to be the better or this or that or whatever the case is. And aside from the selection that Dave has become world famous for, he's also become world famous for the people that decide they want to go try something else. And they've spent their hard-earned cash on 6 or 8 or 10 pounds of what ends up being lackluster injection. Well, in the past, you haven't been able to do jack squat about it except throw it out or continue to use it and get poor scores in competitions or not get the compliments at the family cookouts in the neighborhood and so forth. Now, you can do something to redeem yourself in many people's eyes. The neighbors, the wife, the lady you're banging around the corner, whatever the case may be. Maybe the dude for the ladies out there. Or the same-sex lovers. It doesn't matter to me, man. You go to butcherbbq.com. You look for the trade-in link, right? Click the trade-in link. Keep that other commercially made sauce that you have. When you print off that label, send it to Dave. When it gets to Dave, they're going to weigh it. All weigh-ins are final. And then, because you've realized the folly in your ways, Dave will send you back, in return, his products, whether it be the Prime injection, the beef injection, the bird booster, the open pit injection, all that good stuff. You tell him what you want, he'll send you back the same amount that he weighed in from the other stuff back to you. I mean, who else is doing that? That's why we call it making not only Dave's customers happy, but everybody else happy as well. ButcherBBQ.com. That's ButcherBBQ.com. Always trust your butcher. Man, we're way behind. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Big name interviews, advice on cooking brisket and ribs, and the only host willing to share his honest opinion on all things important in the world of barbecue. It's the Barbecue Central Show.
All right, welcome back. Very quickly, we have to catch up here on the clock. Oh,
hello, everybody. This is Gary.
All right, hold on a second. We have to make good on the clock here. Quick exit out. We'll come back, reload for the second hour. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show right here on the Barbecue Central Network.
Hello, everybody. This is Gary Vaynerchuk, host of Wine Library TV, a.k.a. WLTV, and this is BBQ Central.
From my heart and from my hand, why don't people understand my intention?
Happy to have you aboard here for the really big barbecue show.
We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Fine, how's it going?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan. So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle.
Charbono! It's all about the Charbono, dude!
Succulent fish, what?
He ate 54 wieners.
But listen, Lavernius, shake a face.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now. Who? Top men.
All right, just like that, we're in the second hour. Hey-o! Friends, you have found the Barbecue Central Show. This is what this is. You've stumbled across it by accident, on purpose, whatever. It's the show that talks about all things important in the world of barbecue and grilling. We broadcast live and direct from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city of Cleveland, Ohio. It is the barbecue capital of the North Coast. We are broadcasting here to spread the word of great barbecue that should be had by all, many, so forth. If you want to jump in on the show tonight, I'm more than happy to have you. 216-220-0966. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com is the email address if you want to jump in. Thanks again to Jason Whitcomb and Matt Barber for joining me on the show during the first hour. Still to come on the show tonight, in about 12 minutes from now, Danielle Dimovski, Diva Q, barbecue star. Could I go out on a limb and say she's the biggest star in the barbecue community right now? Could I? I could. Will I? Yes. I will. Just trolling back through the chat room posts. All right. FEC. So here's the thing, Patrick. Barbecue Central sauce. A version with extra heat would be called Barbecue Central sauce from the chat room. There is actually a homemade sauce that I make. Actually, for maybe the last year or so, if you sign up for the Barbecue Central Show newsletter on the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com, as a thank you, I send my Barbecue Central homemade sauce to you just for signing up for the newsletter. Thank you. Thank you. I may or may not reserve a few key items to make sure it's still mine, because I don't want you rat bastards to go to Matt Barber and make my barbecue sauce. No, that's mine.
Get that big stuff out of here.
I think it's good. It's vinegar-y. It's not a vinegar sauce. There's tomato, there's ketchup in there. But it's got, more apple cider vinegar than ketchup. It's got celery salt. It's got black pepper. It's got cayenne pepper. It's got brown sugar. It's got agave nectar. It's got some other things I can't remember. Might have Texas pepper jelly in that bitch. Does it have liquid smoke? No.
Get that big stuff out of here.
Does it have liquid smoke? No, of course not. But I've it's good. I like it. And everybody that comes over to my house for barbecue likes it. And I'm like, man, how much does it cost? Like, could I bottle it? If I give Matt Barber my recipe, maybe I'm about to call Matt Barber tomorrow. We're about to see who's buying my sauce. That doesn't sound right. Who's buying my sauce? Barbecue Central sauce. SAAYUCE. Something like that. So Danielle Dimovski is still to come tonight. Also, Barbecue Swap Meet. Also, we take a very quick look back on, well, not look back, but I reflect back on 7 years of live shows. 10:35. And then there's this. American tourist gored by bull had biggest wound surgeon had ever operated on. What? Oh, and then I found it. Here's the tweet that I saw on the tweeter. American tourist gored in the sphincter during festival in Spain. Oh, no. I had to click on it. And, I got to go ahead and talk about it. An American tourist is recovering in a hospital from what a surgeon says is the biggest bull goring wound he has ever operated on. Ben Miller suffered several wounds, including a 40-centimeter goring in the thigh when he was caught by a fighting bull during a festival in the nearby town of Ciudad Rodrigo on Saturday. Ciudad, by the way, no, never mind. It's not. I was going to say, cuidado is careful. It's not the worst injury I've seen, but it's the biggest goring wound I've ever had to operate on, said Enrique Crespo, told the Associated Press. Miller from Georgia underwent a 3-hour operation to repair damage to his thighs, sphincter, and back muscle. Town councilor Pedro Munez said 2 other unidentified men had sustained less serious goring injuries during Saturday's event. One man from Scotland and a Spaniard from Salamanca were also injured, Munoz said. Fiestas featuring bulls are common in Spain, and critics and aficionados alike agree that these events, which attract international audiences, are dangerous. Dr. Crespo is a world-renowned expert, and we have a medically equipped helicopter on standby every day of our annual fiesta, Munoz said. He said somewhere between 45 and 50,000 people have been attracted over the weekend to this 4-day fiesta that includes afternoon bullfights and bull running events. You know, I got to do myself a favor here. For the people that are watching, I mean, you got to look. I mean, look at these people. Here's a guy getting, well, this guy looks like he's getting blown by the bull. Look at this guy here pulling the bull by the tail. You're going to get kicked. Then you see, this particular one right here where the horn is going into the guy. Yeah, that looks great. Looks great. Ciudad Rodrigo is a population of 14,000 people. It's a small cathedral city close to the Portuguese border that is a popular tourist destination. It retains an ancient defensive wall and is a key battle between Napoleon's army and British forces under the command of Duke Wellington in the early 1800s. Hey, let's watch a bull fight. I can't get through this. Oh, God. So annoying. I know you're interested. You know, it's no surprise to me, folks, that if you're running with bulls or fighting with bulls and one of their horns lands up your ass, that's going to happen. Maybe don't run with bulls, and you won't find their sharp horns on their head in places that you wish they wouldn't. Look at these people. Who's running in the streets with... These are bulls, folks. That guy's getting run over. People, I mean, look at all the pansies. Look at that guy getting trampled. This is a nightmare. Where does this even seem fun? You land on the ground, you have 8 to 10 bulls running behind you. You're going to get trampled. It's going to be a nightmare. It's not fun. And these people wearing those white uniforms. Look at these guys. He's got stepped on his head. He's getting trampled by humans. It's one of the worst ideas I've ever seen in my life. Holy crap. Can we get on narrow streets with 50,000 people that we can't even run full speed because there's just too many people, and run to a bull ring, and hopefully we don't get stepped on? Can we do that? Is that possible? Boy, that seems like a great idea. I can't wait to do that. Can we sign up? Can we go together as the Barbecue Central Collective Bull Running Team? Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's not. I agree with Wayne. Kill the bastards and eat them. Let's do that. Let's do it. Yeah. Yeah. Now, if you didn't already know, Big Papa Smokers is the one-stop online shop for anyone interested in barbecue, and is the #1 dealer of Mac pellet grills in the world. Big Papa Smokers features a wide selection of American-made grill smokers, such as the Old Hickory ACE BP, the Gateway Drum Smoker, even a drum kit that gives you everything you need to make a world-class smoker out of a 55-gallon drum. Big Papa Smokers has also made a name for itself in recent years by crafting an award-winning line of championship rubs, from flavors like Sweet Money to Happy Ending. Their rubs have an award-winning flavor and have won almost every major competition barbecue event, including the 2012 and 13 American Royal, the World Series of Barbecue, the 2012 and 14 Jack Daniels Invitational, 2013 Kings of Challenge, 2014 Houston Livestock and Rodeo, and the 2014 King of the Smoker. Don't think BPS can just be pigeonholed into competitive barbecue either. BPS rubs have become so well known they've been picked up nationwide by BJ's Restaurant and Brewhouse. With 4 of the 9 BPS rubs featured in their permanent menu and a myriad glowing reviews, BPS rubs have proven to be a great addition to anyone's pantry. Big Papa Smokers also banded together with fellow California-based rub company Simply Marvelous Barbecue to form what has now become known as the West Coast Offense. Defying conventional wisdom, these two California-based barbecue rub makers have cornered the market on competitive barbecue and begun to redefine the flavor profiles that competitive cooks from across the country have begun to aim for. Big Papa Smokers' website also features an online meat locker with top-quality meats from Snake River Farms shipped right to your door. From American Kobe beef, caribou to pork, Double R Ranch meats, Big Papa Smokers Meat Locker has something for every type of barbecue aficionado. Committed to bringing you the best barbecue flavors on the market, Big Papa Smokers has recently added a few new barbecue sauces to the lineup. How about Swamp Boys barbecue sauce? A fine swine sauce, Granny's barbecue sauce. These hot new sauces are considered to be the new kids on the block this barbecue season. Big Papa Smokers has also created a unique brand ambassador program called the BPS Elite Team, featuring 15 of the best competition cooks in the country working together to promote camaraderie, competition barbecue, and to benefit children's charities across the U.S. Keep in mind, Big Papa Smokers has been able to do all this with only 5 years of being in business, turning the competition barbecue world on its head, providing customers with the very best barbecue products, becoming a staple of a nationwide restaurant chain, and benefiting children's charities across the U.S. It's just the beginning for Big Papa Smokers. BigPapaSmokers.com. Danielle Dimovski out of the break. Stick around.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, folks, welcome back. 216-220-0966. Greg at the BBQCentralShow.com. Your 2 ways to get in touch with me. Joining me now was also a competitor this past weekend in Apopka, Florida, making the rounds across these beautiful United States. A TV show host, a barbecue competition pitmaster, championship award winning, and more important than all of that crap, friend o' mine, Danielle Dimovski from BBQ joining me. D, what's up?
Hello, Greg. How are you?
Where are you right now?
How you doing? I am in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
What? No!
Yeah, I had a bit of a delay.
Wow.
I had a bit of a delay going home, and so I'm stuck for the night in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, of all places.
You didn't pop
at a very nice hotel.
You didn't pop another
and,
tire, did
having
you?
a couple cocktails.
Yeah, I bet. You didn't pop another tire, did you?
No. At least I went a day without it. It's all good.
My goodness. Oh,
it
my
is what
goodness.
it is.
Yeah, absolutely. So Danielle Dimovski joining me here on the show. You can see her on a show called Barbecue Crawl. You can see her driving around the country, competing in barbecue competitions. I mean, she's doing it all, for crying out loud. Danielle, let's go ahead and talk about... Oh, my thing is so slow here. Let me get your picture up here so everybody who has never seen you before can see you here.
Yeah.
Let's do this. For the peripheral fans or somebody that's just stumbled on this show for the very first time that has no idea who I am, perish the thought. Or worse yet, has never heard of Danielle Dimovski. Little background about you.
Tragedy.
Little background about you and how you got into this whole barbecue thing.
Okay, here's the Reader's Digest condensed version. 10 years ago, almost 10 years ago now, I judged my first barbecue contest, fell in love, bought a smoker, have subsequently bought 47 more since then, or changed 47 more. I'm up to almost 50 now. I travel the country doing barbecue contests. I am completely barbecue obsessed. I have a big-ass book coming out with Random House next year. I have a kick-ass TV show called Barbecue Crawl that's available in 15 countries now.
Wow.
So it is on the Travel Channel, Cottage Life, Travel and Escape, A&E Network, and Food Network. I love my life. I love barbecue, and I love the barbecue community. I get to compete. I get to teach. I get to live the absolute barbecue dream, and it wouldn't be possible without my family and friends. So there you go. Reader's Digest conversion.
Thank you for coming. Wow. You know, I hear you talk, and you mentioned, doing barbecue, and this is what you're doing for a living, and the passion in your voice.
Mm-hmm.
Also, and we won't hold it against you, you're Canadian. So who do I think of when I hear barbecue and passion and grilling and doing it for a living? It's that son of a gun who I think I want to move in with, by the way. Ted Reeder, who I have on this show every once in a while.
Love.
I mean, this guy is...
I love my Teddy.
Oh, he's so good. So what is it in Canada? You guys are like barbecue crazy up there, and also to the benefit of you guys, by the way.
Well, one of the key things about Canadians, and by the way, Teddy is such a good friend of mine. He actually wrote the foreword to my book. But Teddy is a Mac Daddy dude. I love that boy so much. He's like my big brother in barbecue. One of the key things for us is that it doesn't matter if it's, 50 degrees out, 60, 70, whatever, or it doesn't matter if it's minus 30. You're still out at the grill because it never matters to us. We never stop. We have to be tough because if we only grilled in the barbecue season, as some people refer to it as, we would only be barbecuing like 2 months of the year. So it makes us more passionate. It makes us more focused. It makes us more driven. And certainly in my case, it just makes me drive a lot more.
Yeah, so this past weekend, and I had Jason Whitcomb from Team Unknown Barbecue in 914, and then we had Matt Barber, who won the event.
Such a nice guy.
And Matt Barber was on at 9:35. He won the event, and
so talented.
I wanted to get your take. You were there as well, and it's funny that you talk about how the fact that if you didn't cook outside of whatever traditional barbecue season is for people, you would be cooking 6-7 weeks out of the year. When you get down there, I mean, there was so much hype and build up, and people were talking all over the internet and on telephones and so forth about Apopka coming up this past weekend. 92 teams are there. I mean, for Florida event and pretty much for any event, I mean, holding a few. This is a really big-ass event. It's Florida Barbecue Association driven. When you get down there and you're used to freaking, I mean, he's like, oh, it was, or this was Matt Barber, by the way. He's like, oh, it's so cold out there, blah, blah, blah. I was like, dude, who you talking to? It's negative 20 in Cleveland right now. Come and kiss my ass. But as someone
I will say this, Greg.
Yeah, you're used to the cold.
I will say this.
Yeah.
I am used to the cold weather. I cook in the cold weather all the time, but the Florida cold is very different. There is so much humidity in the air that it's the kind of cold that like seeps into your bones that you can't shake. One of the things I noticed when I was walking around to those 92 teams and everybody else, there are more fire pits with Florida barbecue teams that I've ever seen at any contest anywhere because the cold is very different. I froze my butt off for 2 days. I could not believe how cold I was. And Matt's right. It was that cold. It was ridiculous. I had a parka, 2 hoodies, mittens on, my big toque, leggings, track pants, double layer of socks, and I was still cold.
So obviously that's saying something. If somebody from, normally cold areas like yourself and like myself are talking specifically about what the cold is like, then it's obviously pretty cold out there. And I was following some of your Facebook and social media posts. And when you're there early in the morning on Saturday and you're like, man, it's freaking cold. I'm like, wow, it's got to be really freaking cold out there.
It was 4:30 in the morning, and I did a video post. They seemed to get a lot of traction. And the fact is that I can't remember the last time I was that cold at a contest, ever. Like, it was brutal. And I literally stood beside my new sub cooker and literally just to get warm. It was ridiculous.
So what's it like when you're down there, you got 91, 92 other teams out there aside from yourself, and you're obviously a well-seasoned competitor, but when you're cooking out there, it's a Florida Barbecue Association event, so I don't know, well, let me ask the question. I mean, how seasoned are you in an FBA contest versus a KCBS-style contest?
Well, one of the funny things that we were discussing when I was there, and a lot of teams, the teams that are 5 years or less, I've been doing this almost 10 years now. And one of the key things is that I originally started doing contests when the Georgia area had the best of the best contest. It's almost 10 years ago.
Wow.
So I know a lot of the old school guys. And the FBA contests, of course, that have no garnish in the boxes. They start at 11 o'clock. They're hour-long in between turn-ins. It is very different. This is my first official FBA event. You know, I also came in with a brand new smoker. So it was, I couldn't have given myself more challenge. And by the way, solo. You know, I didn't even have a box runner. So I could not have given myself any more challenges in one weekend. Not to mention, like, you know, the 22, 24-hour drive that it takes to get there and back.
Yep.
So it was, for me, I'm always about the challenge. I'm always about giving myself a challenging time in barbecue. I love to experience new things. And the FBA is one of them. You know, my other bucket list item for hopefully later this year, if I can get to one, is an IBCA event in Texas. So, I mean, I think that people are better rounded. I think they're well-rounded if they go to different types of contests all over the country. I think it's great to get out of your own comfort zone. And for me, of course, comfort zone being KCBS. And at the end of the day, I had nothing to be ashamed of. My scores were good.
So when you look at Danielle, the competitor, and we can get a little bit of a glimpse of that as we watch Barbecue Crawl, you usually have, you know, some type of a teammate, and there's like a guest person in there during the TV show, but you're solo this time. And I've talked to some other pit masters, whether it's FBA or KCBS, what have you, for the years and years that I've been doing the show. And I said, and these are people that are typically, you know, 2 or more teammates, and all of a sudden they're forced into a situation where they're solo at a competition. So let me ask you the same question. Do you find that this past weekend, concentration, process, meeting marks and stuff has become at a whole new razor-sharp level because it is just on you to get the scores that you're going to get, or was it not that way?
Well, one of the key things I'd say is just take a look at my trailer. I built a very expensive trailer just so I could compete by myself. I find my concentration is always at a much higher level when I am by myself. There are no distractions. You know, if my children come out, that's a big distraction. Because I'm always going to be a mom first, you know. When my teammates come out, I'm distracted. And not to say I don't want them there, I really do quite often. But there is a different level of concentration when you know that everything is on you. If everything, every iota of everything is on you, your ass better be in gear, you better have your crap together, and you better get it done.
When the scores are just on you and you are evaluating turn-ins and stuff, like do processes change from what it would be like if you had 1 or 2 other people with you?
Not necessarily. Like on my team, I've always been the only person that cooks. Mike Miller from Big Bone Barbecue is all my team. Does a lot of the prep. Jesse does the boxes. So certainly those 2 people do a lot. At the end of the day, the process is this. I'm always going to be the cook. It's always going to fall on me. It's always going to be on my shoulders. Because at the end of the day, that says BBQ on there, nobody else's name.
All right, so rate your overall experience, you know, just kind of looking at the event in Apopka as a spectator and then as a contestant. You know, how did you think you did overall?
Well, I think I'm going to split it actually into 3 parts. How about that?
Yeah,
I think as a spectator, I think the event was exceptionally well. They had 2 killer country acts. It was really well laid out. It was easy for people to get in, easy to get out. There was great parking. Then you go into the competition actual organization, and that was from Chuck. And he did an exceptionally good job. Just from the time that I signed up to the communication I received by email, by also teams that just knew that I, you know, all of a sudden signed up and they are offering anything and everything if I needed any help with anything. To Sweet Smoke Q, Jim, and Jeff, who brought me all my meat because I was running so behind and late, and they were helping me out. So from the organization standpoint, I think it was excellent. I think from the spectator standpoint, it was excellent. I think where there may have been some faults would be with the FBA themselves. And the reason would be because of the 2.5-hour delay in reporting the results. The unfortunate incident of Unknown Barbecue having to have their scores readjusted, which unfortunately readjusted my scores down the line. That was unfortunate. I ended up missing the Montgomery Gentry concert because of that, which really kind of sucks because that was like a good part of the weekend. at the end of the day, I think that they've got a new software program that they're working with. I believe that they will overcome any of the obstacles that they had at Apopka. And I will tell you right now, this will not be my last FBA event. I look forward to doing another 1 or 2 this year.
All right, so let me ask you this. When you get down there, and you had said that there was a lot of people offering help, whether it be the meets or, what have you. If we go back 5 years, are you getting the same kind of help from people, or are you getting help now because of who Danielle Dimovski is?
I actually have always gotten that kind of offer. I think what happens is you give what you get, and you get what you give. And if anybody's coming to my area or coming to the Northeast, and I'm at a contest and somebody coming from the South or whatever, I'm one of those people that I know there's so many of us that say, hey, if you're here and you need anything or you need something, please contact me. I'd love to help you. I think that speaks to the whole barbecue community, the vast majority of people there, that we are such a different competitive field because of the fact that we are so community-based. I don't want anybody coming into a contest and not have everything they need. I want somebody to come into a contest, have everything they need, and I still want to whoop their ass. That's pretty much it. I think one of the things is that people know me more, of course, in the show. I mean, we're the #1 rated barbecue show. We're the #1 watched barbecue show, and that's great and fine. But at the end of the day, the community of barbecuers and the competitive barbecuers are an exceptional group of people who go above and beyond to help anyone. Just even you kidded earlier that, you asked me if I had another tire blowout. I can't even begin to tell you how many people offered to either come and get me a tire. And I mean, people that are like an hour and a half, 2 hours away. This is not even in a competitive field. This is just in the field of being, human kindness. It's a special group of people, and I don't think I would ever do anything or say anything to diminish it because they are that exceptionally awesome.
Danielle, now that you are, seen on TV, you're multiple seasons into Barbecue Crawl, which, as you said, is the highly rated barbecue show on television. Is it difficult at all, or has it become more difficult at all to be competitor Diva Q and also be social person and TV person Diva Q at a competition?
Oh, absolutely. Since the TV show came out and since it's gone to 15 different countries, I'm having a harder time sometimes to shut off the social, make sure you meet with the fans, say hi, yet still stay on your game plan because sometimes, I got to close the door to the trailer, not because I don't want to be social, but I have meat to cut. I have meat to trim. I have things to do. And whether it's an appearance on Barbecue Pitmasters or it's my own show on the Travel Channel, or if it's, American Grill that I'm judging on, that puts me at the forefront of somebody that's seen in the barbecue community. At the end of the day, I am there to compete, but those fans on my shows are all my customers. And if I don't acknowledge my customers, I'm not getting paid. So it is sometimes a very hard balance.
Yeah, I was going to say, how do you, as a competitor first, because I know you, back from when you judged that first, thing, and you were coming on message boards, you were coming on my message board and all this stuff, and we've seen the growth over the years. How do you reconcile as competitor first that regardless of everything else that is going on, when it is time to put on meats on the cooker and make the trimmings and get the boxes ready, that all that other stuff does have to still continue to be on the outside, and you'll get at it when you get at it?
Well, the fans are always awesome. One of the cool things about the fans is that they always come and say hi. Most of them, because they've watched the show, know when turning time is, and I'll close the door. I will say that I have some of the best fans in the world. I had so many people stop by in Florida at Apopka. It was ridiculous. And they understood that when the door was closed, I had to work. And I think that just becomes part of the show of Barbecue Crawl is educating the public that, hey, I'm actually here to work as well as be sociable. And, when it comes to turning time, whether it's 11 or 12 or whatever the case may be, I have a job to do. And the fans actually really respect it. Funny enough, I was coming out of the trailer at one point on the weekend. A fan happened to say, he goes, I'll see you in an hour. He goes, I know it's turn-in time. And so that happens more frequently all the time. I guess I'm just lucky that the fans are like that.
Danielle Dimovski joining me here on the show. DivaQ.ca if you want to check out our website. If you haven't checked out our website, go ahead and check that out while we're talking here about the Apopka, Florida competition. So in regards to fans and in regards to competitions and finding that balance, do you find at this point, because you have that time underneath your belt, you are able to find that balance within yourself and the fans can kind of dig on it? Or do you still try and every contest figure out how you're going to be popular Danielle and be competitor, want to kick your ass Danielle?
I think I've got a really good balance on it now. Last year I was a lot less comfortable with the whole program. I'm used to fans now coming up, and that, like, last year it was really kind of unsettling. Every time a fan came, I'm like, why are you coming up? I don't understand. Now I kind of like get the program a little bit more, because I could be in the middle of, like, this weekend in Maryland at a gas station, or hey Ms. Diva, can we get our picture with you? Or some little kid will come up and say, hey Ms. Diva, I love cooking and you're helping me. So I'm a lot more comfortable with it now. The competitive side is never going to go away, ever. It's never going to go away from me. But for the thing is that these people that come up and thank me or just kind of want to talk about the show or whatever, I owe a debt of gratitude to them on a daily basis. They're the people that keep me employed. So as much as I'd like to say I'm a hard badass about competitive stuff, if a little girl or a little boy comes up to me and I'm walking a box, I've actually walked with them now. And I say, hey, why don't you just walk with me? I got to go turn this box in. So it's just about trying to make that balance happen. They're my customers. They're my fans. I owe everything to them, and I can't forget that.
Danielle, let me ask you a question. If you look at over the past 10 years or so since you've been in it, who do you think is the baddest ass pitmaster out there over the last 10 years? I want your answer. I'm going to give you my answer after you answer.
Wow, that is a really hard question.
That's why you come to the show. You don't come for softballs, Danielle, for crying out loud.
I'd say Donnie Bray.
Really?
Badass. Absolutely.
Guess
because
what?
You don't have to be loud and abrasive and loud like me, but I do believe Donnie Bray is one of the most badass guys on the circuit.
Guess what? You're wrong. I'm going to tell you. Over the last, it's probably even longer than 10 years. And people will tell me I'm a suck ass for saying it. And he might, or he may or may not have become part of the barbecue Illuminati. Myron Mixon is the best pitmaster that has been in the last 10 or so years, and here's why. He has won Memphis Barbecue Network Team of the Year. However, he wins in the Florida Barbecue Association. He has won in the KCBS. And I defy anybody to tell me a pitmaster who has been able to go on 3 different stages and be as successful as he has over the last 10 or so years.
Well, I think he makes some really valid points, actually. I also think that his tea presence has opened up doors for many people. I can't disagree. I think that that's a really valid candidate. I don't fully agree, but hey, everybody's entitled to their opinion.
That's right. That's why I have a talk show, so I can vent my opinion. Who cares?
Exactly.
That's right. Danielle, where are you going to be at next, for crying out loud?
Okay, so next week I'm on, so I'm going to hopefully get home tomorrow. And
hopefully.
Then I am next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, I believe I'm going to be in St. Louis, Missouri. I'm going to go eat some ribs and do a couple things there. Next Wednesday and Thursday, I'm going to be in Asheville, North Carolina, eating some barbecue and doing a couple things. Not Wednesday and Thursday. Next Wednesday and Thursday of next week, I think I'm at the BBQA.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the following week. Oh, the gravy. Hold on. So Asheville, North Carolina. Then I am going to go do Big Bacon Bonanza. I am their celebrity chef in Iowa. The following week, I'm in Asheville, North Carolina. Then I'm at the MBBQA hosting a class with Malcolm.
Wow.
We're going to host a social media class. Once I do that, I'm going to fly out on the Friday. I have Garth Brooks tickets to the center. I'm very excited. Then I'm home for a couple days, and I start teaching, and then I fly out again to Edmonton. My schedule just never stops right now. It just does not stop.
Yeah, it sounds like it's completely going off the charts right now. Danielle Dimovski joining me here on the show. Danielle, as far as the book that you had mentioned, is there like a launch date or a sell date or anything yet?
Well, I'll tell you, it's coming out spring 2016. There will be a book tour in the U.S. and Canada. I'm very excited about it. It is something that is geared towards the backyard barbecuer, not competitive barbecuers. These are beloved recipes that I absolutely make all the time at home for my family, my kids for sure. The book was shot by the ultra awesome, kick-ass photographer Ken Goodman. He flew up to my house and we did a very intense 3-day shoot for that. And it's with Random House, and I'm very excited for it to come out. And like I said, it is geared to the backyard barbecuer. So these are just everyday, kick-ass, delicious recipes that you just want to make. And so that's coming out in the spring. And a couple other projects coming down the pipes. And I can't wait for those to explode and come out as well, because it's going to be a very exciting 2016.
And obviously, Barbecue Crawl continues to grow and continue on season after season and all this good stuff.
Well, we certainly hope so. Every year the network gets to decide that. So whether we have a season 4 or not, it remains to be seen. I will tell you this, that we were very excited that the show got picked up in 15 different countries this year. That is huge. That is massive. International distribution is massive for a show like ours. We were also nominated for the equivalent of a Canadian Oscar in our editing. And in fact, our editing and our editor teams are so good that we're actually nominated in the same category as the engaging rate. So I do want to give a big shout out to them because it's such a huge accomplishment, and that's RCR Media. There's a lot of projects coming up. I got a brand new Stumps cooker. I'm loving still my Cook Shack FEC. I have got so many great partnerships and friendships with so many people in the barbecue community, ThermoWorks and Granny Sauce and Guru, and oh my God, the list goes on and on. Smoking Out Smokers, Butcher's Barbecue. I'm just really excited about where it's all going.
So what the hell is going on with this Granny's barbecue sauce? 3 weeks ago I've seen it, and now it's like on fire. What is going? Is this the new Blues Hog of sauce or what?
Well, I'll tell you right now.
Yeah.
Some of us might have had it for a very long time and maybe just didn't tell anybody.
What's a long time?
Oh, I can't give you that information. That's confidential.
All right, so we'll say more than 5 years.
Greg. Come on.
I will guess and say 5 years or more.
I will tell you got to get some.
All right, well, I can because Big Papa Smokers is a sponsor of the show, and he's carrying it now, of course. So I will call Sterling and tell him to ship me a case immediately.
Well, of course, I'm a big fan of Simply Marvelous rubs as well.
Of course, yeah, the West Coast offense. Everybody loves it. Danielle, let me ask you one last question, and I'm not asking for specifics. Yeah. I don't know if you know or not, but Meathead sold his AmazingRibs.com website for probably multi-millions of dollars. In regards to Barbecue Crawl and the success that the show has seen, and now it's in 15 different countries and so forth, like you said.
Yep.
Are you making like a lot of money from the TV show, or is it an amalgamation of all of the other partnerships that you have that you're able to do the living of barbecue as it comes to generate income?
I will tell you that I am loving my life, that you do not need a ton of money to live your life properly, and that any of the monetary discussions I'll keep to myself. How about that?
All right. I mean, the other side of me is like, no, answer my question specifically with dollars and cents. All right, Danielle Dimovski, you can
Greg.
see her. It's Diva Q Barbecue Team. You can find her at divaq.ca because CA is Canada, and that's where she's from, goddammit. Danielle, always appreciate the time you can give to the show, and we will talk to you soon.
Of course.
There she is.
Thanks very much, Greg. It's always been a pleasure. Have a great night.
Thanks. There she is, Danielle Dimovski, Diva Q. You can find her on televisions and other such revelry across the globe now, literally across the globe. She's in 15 countries for that show, for crying out loud. That's Barbecue Crawl, by the way. All right, here we go. Let me talk to you quickly about my good friends and sponsors of the show now for a decent amount of time. Cook Shack, barbecue competition season is here. You can get spices, you can get rubs, you can get to the winner's circle now through... Wait a second. Script through 333. Let me just tell you this. You can save big right now On Cook Shack FEC 100 pellet smokers, the Fast Eddie's award-winning all-purpose rub, use promo code FEC LOVE to receive free FedEx priority shipping on the purchase of an FEC 100. This is a savings of up to $200. That's right. The Fast Eddie's Cook Shack FEC 100 is the choice of many teams on the competition circuit. You heard Danielle Dimovski just say she's got one. It's a premium coupon to use. 15% off the regular price of Fast Eddie's all-purpose rub. Use promo code FE Foxtrot Echo 15 FE15. Order these items online. Cookshack.com or call 800-423-0698. Dave Bosca of Butcher Barbecue, Dana Hillis of Big Papa's Country Kitchen, Todd Johns of Plowboys Barbecue have competed using FEC 100s for years. David won the 2012 barbecue contest for World Food Championships in Vegas and was featured on the Barbecue Pitmaster show using the FEC 100. Todd John won the American Royal in 2009 using his FEC 100. Other notable teams using the FEC 100, I just had her on the show, Danielle Dimovski of Diva Q, Jiggy Piggy, GQ, Pork Patrol Barbecue, and Jeff Northcutt of Dr. Nordy's Barbecue. Why do these legendary pitmasters love the FEC 100? Todd Johns of Plowboys considers his FEC 100 a member of his cooking team. They handle his fire management. He can cook by himself. He does not have to worry about his temperatures. They will be consistent. He can roll into the contest at 6 p.m. on a Friday, prep his meats, and he's ready to cook quickly. The FEC 100 puts you in control so you can concentrate on your flavor profiles and making those turn-in boxes. The FEC 100 features a digital CookShack IQ5 controller, lets you set smoke, cook, and hold time temperatures. The heat and flavor source is 100% food wood-grade pellets. The pellet heat source is controlled by a fully automated pellet system, which produces very little ash as compared to stick burners. And if you want more deep smoke flavor, CookShack offers the optional smoke enhancer that can be added to the FEC 100 as well. Act quickly. Take advantage of this free FedEx shipping priority by using FEC 100 and 15% off the Fast Eddie's All-Purpose Rub promo, FE15, to take advantage of these great savings. Call one of the sales professionals at CookShack right now at 800-423-0698. That's 800-423-0698, or order online at cookshack.com. All right, we're back right after this.
Big name interviews, advice on cooking brisket and ribs, and the only host willing to share his honest opinion on all things important in the world of barbecue. It's the Barbecue Central Show.
Who would have thought this music thing was going to go this far? I never asked for this. I never asked for this fast living, the women, the whiskey, craziness. There's whiskey in my soul. Hey, Bert, let's go.
I've been drifting down that open highway, finger in the air, cause I do things my way. The next town's where I call home.
All right, what are you people talking about? I want soft on Diva. What the fuck are you talking about? Soft? Because I didn't say, give me the exact dollar amounts. That makes me soft? What? I can't make people tell me what they make. I mean, sure, I want to know. I did not let her duck the question. She said she wasn't going to answer it. Listen up, for crying out loud, Patrick, you damn... You're putting me in a position. I said how much? She said, I would never... At the end, you go back and listen to the podcast, pal. She said, I won't give you that information. So what am I going to do? Go after her 6 and 7 times and alienate? Forget it. I'm not going to do that. I think if you listen to her answer, she's probably doing pretty okay. Probably doing better than this guy. What? Come on, man. Cut your income in half, and that's what she makes. Dave, that swath is wide-ranging. I made $973,000 last year. How much did you make? If you can name that movie, by the way, I will give you a bottle of Sucklebuster's honey sauce. Honey barbecue sauce. How about that? Can you name that movie? I know I can because I watch it every day. Well, I watch one portion of it every day. One portion of it. You name it, you get the prize. Boom. But let me recount it. I made $978,000 last year. How much did you make? Yeah. Anyway. Thanks to Danielle Dimovski of DVQ for joining me. Jason King. $300 for a class. I asked if I could do the dishes. She said, no! Live podcast of the Barbecue Central show. Yeah. That'll cost you. That'll cost you plenty. Damn it, Andy Allen. You win.
Get that big stuff out of here.
Bastard. Andy Allen, since you knew the movie, you probably wouldn't find it at all weird that I have that whole sales part memorized. What? What, 'cause you talking about a sale you lost? 'Cause you talking about a dang you're trying to have sex with? Is everybody here? I'm going to go now. You, put that coffee down. Coffee's for closers only. You think I'm fucking with you? I am not fucking with you. Levine, you call yourself a man? You call yourself a salesman, you son of a bitch? People don't come on the lot lest they want to buy. These people are coming on the lot to give you their money. You want to take it? Are you man enough to take it? All right, forget it. I'll get out of it. I love it. I love it. It just pumps me up. I'm a sales guy by profession. I love watching that 7 minutes. Alec Baldwin giving it to me. Crazy. Oh. Do I have your attention now? Good. Because we've added a little something to this week's sales contest. Of course, as you all know, first prize is a Cadillac Eldorado. You want to see second place? Set of steak knives. Third place is you're fired. The leads are weak. The fucking leads are weak? You're weak. Mitch and Murray paid good money for these leads. You can't qualify. You can't talk to these people. You can't sell shit. You are shit. Hit the bricks, pal, and beat it because you are going out. All right, this time I'm really done.
Get that big stuff out of here.
I love it. If you've never seen, do me a favor. Glenn Gary, Glenn Ross, it's about 7 minutes and 45 seconds. Especially if you're a salesperson. If you've never seen that, it is the best ever. Because I drove an $80,000 BMW to work, and you drove a Hyundai. That's who I am. Good father, F you. Like your wife, go F yourself. Right. Love it. Never seen the movie. Don't need to see the movie. All right, so let me go back. Way back. Whoa. See if I can get this right. February 7th, 2008. Sounded a little something like this.
One man with one simple vision to create a barbecue site that doesn't suck. He succeeded. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Greg Renby and the BBQCentral.com.
All right, so I need to set this up a little bit, I guess. This is the very first live Barbecue Central show that took place on February 7th, 2008, 7 years and 10 days ago. Oh, yeah. I remember that intro music. Some of my favorite intro music. Hear the crowd in the back. Oh, yeah. All right, just imagine 7 years ago, you're tuning in to a barbecue show, and this is what it sounds like. All right? I'm going to even put up the banner just so you can get a mindset, because it was only a radio show at that point. There was no video or anything. This is what it sounded like. Relax, take it in.
Welcome to the Barbecue Central Show. Good Thursday to you, wherever you may be. 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, so make your time zone adjustments. I know a lot of people hanging out on the West Coast, so that's 6 o'clock there. Great to have you aboard. I think I can say this with a surety since we're on internet radio, wherever you are across the globe. I certainly appreciate you taking time out to join me. And first show, after listening to 4 days of BBS Talk Radio and all the shows that have been taking place, most of the shows, I believe, holding Simon's hypnosis show, most of the shows are taking place on a daily basis, so I've been able to hear how the Sam and Manu show go. That airs at 12 o'clock Pacific. No, 9 o'clock Pacific. And then TJ McCormick follows them. And then the Dam Report follows TJ. So a good 6-hour block of original talk. And really good quality. These guys are really on top of their game. And to hear how well they have really kind of grown even just over the last 3 days has made it all the more nerve-wracking for me to actually get on and do my thing. This will be a weekly show for 1 hour. And this happens, obviously, on Thursdays. So, again, really good first 4 days of broadcasting. Really set the bar high. Want to make sure that I'm doing good for you guys today. So in order to do that, of course, I want to put myself in a comfortable position. It's about 25 degrees outside, broadcasting here from Cleveland, Ohio. And I want to make sure that it's comfortable, so I thought about where would I be most comfortable? Well, of course, that would probably be a barbecue pit. But given the weather situation, probably not the best idea for me to do a show outside in the freezing cold and the ice and snow. So the next best thing, figured I would go to a bar. So that's where I am. You probably are hearing people in the background. And that's because my good friend Kevin Coyne, who is the owner of the Mix Pub and Grill, this is actually in historic Willoughby, Ohio, is letting me broadcast live from here tonight. So that's the voices that you hear in the background. Got a live audience. Everybody, we're on live BBS Talk Radio. Everybody make some noise. So again, we're at Mix Pub and Grill in Willoughby. If you're looking at downtown Cleveland on a map, take 90 directly eastbound for about 15 miles, and you'll hit Willoughby, technically, I guess, in the business district, whatever that is.
Can everybody believe that was the show? What?
Get that big stuff out of here.
Oh, my God. That was the show. That was the very first show ever. Live. Oh, how the show has changed. Oh, how the sound has changed. Blah, blah, blah. Wayne weighing in. I need to start doing my podcast live. I need to get out of my head and more just like talking to people like this. Yeah, that's right, Wayne. Yeah. Yeah, baby. Yeah. Can you believe for 1 second that was the show? That was the show. That guy in a bar 7 years ago. And I think I was actually connecting through Skype at that point. I didn't even have my own audio streaming server. I mean, I didn't have any video or anything like that, of course. So here's where we're at. 7 years and 10 days ago, 2007, 2008, the very first live Barbecue Central show was had on the air. And I had no idea that we would be able to make 6 months out of this show, let alone 7 years. What? Here we are, 7 years and 10 days later, interviewing guests that I've never interviewed again, interviewing guests that I had all the way back 7 years ago, and picked up some in between, interviewed top names in the industry at that point. I mean, if you go back through, if you visit thebbqcentralshow.com and you go back into the archives, or if you go to latalkradio.com, to where the delineation of where the show originally, this show was just an hour. Not even. It was 50 minutes or 55 minutes or whatever it was. And I was kind of on leash by a guy in L.A. And he said, hey, okay, you're going to get this amount of time, and it's not going to cost you anything, because he was charging people. Like L.A. Talk Radio right now, if you Google L.A. Talk Radio, it's huge. One of the biggest websites out there. It currently continues to carry the first hour of this show, not the second hour. Why not the second hour, Sam?
Get that big stuff out of here.
But here we are 7 years later. 7 years. When I first approached the guy at LA Talk Radio, which was then BBS Talk Radio, about me doing a barbecue show, he laughed at me. Laughed at me. You think you can do a barbecue show for more than a month? I said, well, yeah, I've been doing a podcast for the last 2 years, but there's all these other podcasts that are creeping up and so forth, and I want to set the bar different. I want to make my own name. I want to go live. I want to do it live. Do it live. He's like, well, I don't really have a lot of faith in it, but you seem like a nice guy, and you're going to put forth the effort to make the live connection from Cleveland to L.A., and 7 years later, adding another hour, adding regular guests, still keeping a track and atop the industry as a whole. Folks, I hate to say it. You're not going to find a more comprehensive, on top of the market as an industry, in competition, as the consumer and marketplace is affected. You're not going to find a better show as it relates to this industry than right here, the Varsity Show, Barbecue Central Show. Sorry. That's the way it is. We've found a loyal following. We've built a loyal following. We've had extremely awesome supporters of this show all the way through the years, especially the 6 and 7 that are on right now. You know, these people they realize the value of the show. They realize we're pushing the envelope, that really nobody else is doing this still after 7 years. So thank you to everybody that has ever listened to the show. Once, regular listener, video listener, watcher, whatever. Anybody that's ever picked up even 1 second of the show, I appreciate it more than you'll ever know. I never thought we would get to 7 years and get to a point where I can go as long as I want. I don't see any end to the show. The way that I have been able to refine it over the years and get it into a situation of certain repetitiveness, nobody else can get this recipe. This show is good forever. And if all the sponsors drop off for whatever reason, the show still continues to happen. Why? Because it boils back down to the same reason I've done this show for the 7 years. I do the show because I love the show. I do the show because I want to do the show. I don't do the show to get paid. I don't do the show for more sponsors. I don't do the show for any of that. I do the show because you like the show, because I like doing, well, I do the show because I like doing the show. But secondarily, and perhaps most importantly, I do the show because you listen to the show. You watch the show. You come back here every Tuesday live, or you get it Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You listen on the train ride to work, or you drive to work, or however you do it. This is why we do the show. This is why. And I'm thankful that 7 years later, man, you're still in it. You're here. You're invested. I'm invested. And I want to do better shows each and every week for you. Hopefully I'm doing that for you. All right, quickly, let me talk to you about Barbecue Guru. Longest running sponsor of the show, as you know, automatic pit temperature control devices, creators of this technology. If you want to get one, do easy. TheBBQGuru.com or call them 800-288-GURU. They'll make sure you're outfitted with exactly what you need to get you up and running right out of the box. 800-288-GURU or TheBBQGuru.com. The Barbecue Guru is a breakthrough in barbecue technology. We're back to wrap up this show. Right after this, stick around. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Johnny Dam, host of the Damage Report radio show. When I'm not falling in love with the First Amendment all over again, I like to sit back, relax, and rub my meat to the Barbecue Central show. And now your host, Greg Rempe. Go, Greg. Yeah, rub that meat.
Get in the smoke. Call 877-448-0433 to get on the air. Now, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
Big B, Moonshine Band, and Suburban Boys Records. Let's go! I'm an outlaw. Give me 2 shots. We don't need
All right, welcome back. We're going to wrap up the show here right now. Like, quick, because I'm over time. Sorry, Kevin. All the way back in the first hour, we were talking Apopka, Florida competition. Jason Whitcomb joined me, unknownbbq.com. Matt Barber from Hot Wachulas, hotwachula.com. And then the second hour, we talked to Danielle Dimovski, who was also at Apopka. Diva Q, the letter, divaq.ca. She's from Canada. And then we briefly recapped 7 years of the live show. Thank you to everybody for the well wishes in the chat room. Appreciate that. All right, big show planned for next week, as always. If you want to jump in, you want to lend some comments, some suggestions, feel free to reach out. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com or leave a voicemail at 216-220-0966. If you have raw cast iron, re-season it each and every month. As it starts to cool, hit the grill grates with a brush, get all the bits off, and then a little grease, a little Crisco, let it burn back in. Generations of rust-free service. Also, September 11th, 2001, I will never forget. Until next week at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, this is your program host and proud U.S. American, Greg Rempe. Good night now.